Sexless marriages, why this happens, and how to fix this. Hello, gentlemen. I am Apollonia Ponti. I'm a dating, relationship, and life coach for men. And I help men not only with attraction, but really bettering their relationships overall with the women that they either date or in relationship with or in marriages with. And we're going to talk about a really sensitive topic that most of us really suffer from in marriages. And, I really want to really shine a light on this, and probably something that you've never heard on the internet before, because I think it's like this jaded notion that sex should always be the same in marriages. And we're going to talk about that because honestly, that is actually a very disruptive view about intimacy when it comes to a growing relationship. And so we're going to break everything through, and we're going to break the barriers. So if you're a gentleman that's wondering, like, how am I going to be able to have better sex with my wife or in my relationship, or why is it dwindling down? I'm going to give you the answers here today and what to do with it, because I know it's a tricky topic, but I also know it's a topic that a lot of people are hesitant to share online the real truth about it, and I'm going to get into it. So if this is your first time visiting, I welcome you to click that subscribe button right now, and also to comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this video. I love to interact with you to see how I can meet your needs in future videos as well. So let's get into sexless marriages in regards to why these things might happen and what I've seen in coaching also too. And also too, I'm married myself. And so we're going to get in a couple things here. I want you to understand that this is something that is seasonal and can happen actually often in a marriage. Okay. So typically you can have sex, let's say 3 times a week, 1 week, and then 2 weeks you only have sex 1 time a week, right? Here's the thing, is sex is seasonal in relationships, in marriages. It's not always supposed to be consistent on always in the same amount of times. And I'm going to get into more of the reasons of why. And also too, before we get into it, I have to preface it with these 2 things, is that, and then also too, what is really important is you as a man or a woman have to understand what is your relationship with sex. This is huge. This is why I start with these 2 things first, is because if you have an attachment to sex, this has to be visited. Because many times I've worked with clients that will tell me like, oh, if my wife is not giving me sex 3 times a week, that means she's cheating on me. Or the way that I feel superior in my relationship or love is when my wife is giving me sex. And this is also a really bad attachment to sex, because basically what you're doing is you're giving your confidence or who you are in the relationship based off of sex. You feel like you get your attention from sex, and this is the way that you are gratified in the relationship. As if your woman is giving you sex constantly, the one you want it, and you think it's happening, then that means that she wants you and everything is right. And so the attachment for sex for men and women have to be analyzed, because many times we have this attachment to sex and this notion that says, like, if someone is not doing something, then something is wrong with me. Okay. And most of the times when a sex life has gone down, it has a lot to do with the other person and then the relationship typically. So let's go into that. So a lot of reasons. Let's first talk about the reasons of why your sex life can dwindle off in marriage and long-term relationships. So one is children, hormones, and changes to adapting to things, right? Adapting to anything, a move, a new career change, building a business. Also hormones. Now than ever these days, gentlemen, I talk about this a lot on my channel, is men need to get their testosterone and progesterone too. It's just as important tested. And a lot of times, like, men that are in their 30s are having really low testosterone peaks and really high progesterone, or opposite. And so what's really important is that you're getting tested for hormones, not only men, but women too. And also children. That has a lot to do with hormones. When you have children, and any of you guys have children, like, it does put a damper in the first, especially month of especially if you're a first time mom or first time dad, of your sex life, right? And so it's really important because also too, you don't know what your wife or your partner is going through hormonally after these changes have happened to her body. So the biggest thing we can do is support in those moments and not put pressure of sex in those moments. The second reason why sex would dwindle down is health and age. Like, when testosterone and hormone levels drop, so does your sex drive. And also too, with your health, like, if something is going on in your health reasons, you're dealing with anxiety, depression, overworking, overtiredness, or you're going up there in age too, and you're not taking care of yourself properly, this has a lot to do with affecting your image, right? And also too, are you gaining a lot of weight? Are you losing a lot of weight? Like, are you happy with your body? I think it's so important, no matter how long you've been married, My goal is like, I want my husband to find me attractive until the day I die. Like, this is my goal in life, and I am proud about it, right? And so he's the same way. And so this is the thing, is like, you want to have these conversations. But did I think like this before? No, I thought like this as I grew into the marriage. I grew into it because he made me feel safe. He made me feel secure, because he's seen me after a baby where I've been at my ultimate highest weight and still loved me, still found me sexy. And so this is where it really made me want to be my best self for him too, because he sees it in me no matter what and what I'm going through. And so where I'm going to get into this a little bit more is the support always has to be there in a relationship, no matter if the sex dwindles down or if it goes up. Okay. The next one on why sex life would go down is number 3, is you stop putting in the work. You have a lack of fun. You have a lack of humor in the relationship, a lack of passion, a lack of investment. You're not doing date nights anymore. You're getting overcompensated with work or with children. Gentlemen and women that are watching, I have this big belief, and I don't care if you don't believe the same thing, but I believe this so strongly that I do believe that every person should believe this, especially if you're a parent. If you have children and you are in a marriage and you want to show your children, basically every parent does, a healthy relationship, you must put your marriage first. And of course, you're going to put the children first when they need to be put first. But what I'm saying here is this, is you have to show that the investment, the work that you put into your marriage, because this gives your children an idea of what love truly is. Okay. And so the moment that you show up for each other and become your best selves, you will become the best parents just easily and naturally. Because the best parents aren't the best parents that get things right. The best parents are the ones that are supportive and work through it together as a family. Okay. And so what's important is that you don't stop investing. You invest in fun. You invest in passion. You invest in date nights. You invest in change. Where is this person at? My wife used to love going out. Now she's a homebody. So what can we do at home now? How can I go out and have fun with my friends and then come home and feel happier, right? Not only investing in your relationship, investing in yourself. Number 4 of reasons why your sex life will go down is stress, depression, anxiety, addictions like drugs, and also a big one, pornography. Huge, gentlemen. I'm a big believer that pornography is literally the trap for men. I'm a huge believer because I've seen nothing come good out of it. And here's the thing is, I've worked with men with porn addictions before and overcame them. I've talked to so many porn coaches. I mean, I've talked to so many people in the industry, and it's just crazy the amount of addictions that are in there. And so with that said, a lot of times when we lack in our sex life, we will turn to substances that make us feel good, such as alcohol, drugs, pornography, or pills, or feel depressed, or get stressed, and we just turn to these things. And understand that lack of sex will happen because of these things. And I've done a video all about why pornography can distract your love life. I'll link that in the next watch video list if you'd like to watch that. But this is some reasons. Let's go into number 5. Is that you're stop committing as well. So you stop committing and communicating by looking at outside resources, really, and just to give attention to. Like you're getting attention from other women, or she's getting attention from other men, or you're making excuses, but you stop committing. Here's the thing, is like in marriages and long-term relationships, the biggest thing is you're not gonna wake up every day feeling, oh my God, I'm so in love with this person after they just did something that pissed you off, right? Or I really wanna sleep with this person after they just said something that you really didn't like. Obviously, we are not robots. We do not operate like that, okay? Even though some people want us to be the Stepford wives and some women want us to be the Stepford men, that's never gonna happen, okay? But here's the thing, gentlemen, is that this is key to a healthy relationship. The both of you choose to commit every single day, because within commitment comes communication, regulation, understanding, support. And in order to commit, you have to have the same similar values. Where I see marriages dwell off after 5 years is because they married for the wrong reasons, and they weren't married based on values. They were married based on monetary needs. That's it. And so commitment will always lack if your values are not aligned. Last but not least, we're going to go into reasons why it happens, and then we're going to go into how to fix this, okay? The next reason is you're not working on your pitfalls in your relationship. You're not seeking counseling. All you're doing is you have so much built up resentment in this relationship because of some situations that have happened in your past that you hang on to that, and that's it. Let me be honest, every relationship, every marriage is different. I've had couples that have been together for 25 years and they've known each other since they were young and 20 years old, and now the man's 40 years old and he's not the same guy he was when he was 20. Obviously, it's the same vice versa for a woman. But she's still hanging on to that 20-year-old thing that happened with him before he became a man and figured out this is not the right way to treat my wife. And she's still hanging on to that resentment 20 years later and bringing it into their marriage. And he's like, I'm such a different man now. But yet he's like, let go of it. Why aren't you letting go of it? And XYZ, you should be doing this, is because she's not healing from that. And so many times we need outside help to help us see those things, to help us give us a plan on healing them together, help us fix it, help us effectively communicate better. So seek counseling, seek coaching, seek help in general if you don't want to give up on your marriage. I'm a big believer for this. Now let's go into how to fix a sexless marriage. Now that we know the reasons of why it would fall off, okay? One is you want to communicate with one another with vulnerability, though. I think it's important to understand that sometimes when a woman goes through something hormonally, she doesn't feel attractive, right? So there has to be ways that a man can make her feel attractive. And this is the only way that you're going to understand what's going on with her, is if you communicate vulnerably with her, meaning you're here to hear, not to prove. Okay, that's communication. Effective communication is not, I'm going to prove that I'm right and she's wrong. Effective communication is just figuring out the why. Number 2 on how to fix this is don't talk about things in your bedroom. Don't talk about things at home as much. If you feel that you're hitting a wall constantly, what you want to do is bring your talks outside of your bedroom, where you're supposed to be making the most love at, basically. You want to go out to dinner, do golf carting, do something fun, play darts, do axe throwing, do something that's going to bring the adrenaline, and start talking about your sex life with one another. This is super important. I've seen so many changes in the couples that I've worked with that have actually gone out and talked about these things, but done something like golf courting, got the anger out and hit their partner in the golf cart with the bumper cars, whatever you call them. And it's pretty funny because they're like, wow, we've had such an amazing talk. And honestly, many times from these couples, what I've heard is they actually were intimate as soon as they got home, because the talk did make them alive again and feel alive again. The next way to fix this is to plan date nights. Gentlemen, I want you to understand, in order to fix it, because of the fact a lot of men and women think if we fix it, it means we're having sex. No, sex can actually just be a band-aid, because just because you had sex doesn't mean it's fixed, because then you can go a month again without sex, right? You have to understand that planning date nights and investing in the relationship is what's going to fix it. Open communication with it. Also putting in the work to make sure you guys don't fall backwards. Actually putting in the time to invest. Sometimes when you put in the time to spend one-on-one, not putting the pressure to have sex. And if you guys were intimate, great, but if not, you just spent quality time cuddling, watching a movie, that's still beautiful too. And treating those moments just as valuable as if you were intimate with her. Because what will happen is you're taking out the pressure of the sex. And so what happens is naturally intimacy will flow, especially if you're planning date nights, especially if you're committing, especially if you're vulnerable and openly communicating. The next one, number 4, is fill up each other's emotional needs. This is so important. Your emotional needs can be completely different than your wife's. A lot of time, men I've seen, because I've worked with men, gentlemen, and I have a husband, but men think that they know their wife's emotional needs because it's my wife. I know her better than she knows herself. My husband loves to say that. It's hilarious, actually. And I just laugh when he says it. But understand that, because he sometimes does, to be honest. But anyways, I have to give him that credit. But with that said, understand this, gentlemen, is your wife's emotional needs can change at a drop of a dime, because we're just emotional creatures. So you want to make sure that you're always open to her and communicating. Like, what do you need from me right now? What can I help you with right now? And she should be doing the same, vice versa. And if she doesn't, ask her to, and see how she takes a liking to it, and if she does or doesn't. This is where you'll also have to probably talk to outside resources if there's a lot of resentment there and she's not open to this yet. Number 5 is I have this list. It's called my yes, no, maybe list in the Master the Bedroom course that I built. It is an amazing course for couples, for marriages, for people that are not in relationships, whatever you want. But it is called Master the Bedroom. And I go in there and it's a yes, no, maybe list about everything sexual desire you can think of. And what you do with your partner is you take the list and you give her a sheet of paper, you give a sheet of paper. You do this not at home, when you're out. And you check yes, no, or maybe to these things that are on the list. would you try them, basically? Yes, no, or maybe. And then you swipe the list and you talk about it. This helps so much vision, fantasies, desires of your partner. And also, honestly, it ignites passion in your relationship. Typically, the couples that I have do this can't wait to go home and jump each other's bones. Next one, number 6. I want you to think about what are your stressors in the relationship. Many times in our marriages, we don't think like, what is the things that stress us out? Man and woman in the relationship. So for example, sometimes the things that stress me out is when I feel overwhelmed. I have a job to do, I have a business to upkeep, I have employees that I need to help, I have other businesses that I'm a part of, and I'm being pulled in so many different directions. And then all of a sudden something happens with the house and I have to manage that, because that's our agreement, my husband and I's agreement. We know what I'm in charge of and he knows what he's in charge of, and that's how we work so great together. But there's sometimes where I feel really overwhelmed, and that can be my stressors. And so you have to understand, like, what are your stressors? What are the times that make you feel overwhelmed? What are the things that make you feel overwhelmed, okay? Once you can identify your stressors in the relationship, the both of you are going to talk about it. Because many times it's not about what can I fix or what can I do to help you eliminate the stress. It's just you just want your partner most of the time to know and to understand and to know how to work with you during those times emotionally too. Number 7 is embrace polarity. This is huge. Know the difference between masculine and feminine energy and doing that dance in your relationship. Also know, like, let her know what she does and how she acts that really turns you on, that really makes you attracted to her. And she should do the same vice versa and ask her those questions, because polarity is so big in sexual attraction and understanding your masculine and your feminine energy. And I talk a lot about this in a lot of my videos on this YouTube channel. And when you have polarity in a relationship, you're kind of like doing this dance. And I think this comes with a lot of admiration. And this is where a lot of sexual desires and also fulfillment comes from. And last but not least, number 8 in how to fix this is really ease into things little by little. A lot of times when we don't have sex for a long time, it can feel very awkward to do it again, right? This is what I hear from a lot of my couples too, is like it feels really awkward. So you want to ease into things. Some ideas that I give them is like, take a shower together, take a bath together, go on a spa date together. Because intimacy isn't just about sex, gentlemen. Intimacy is all about spending time together emotionally, physically, mentally. And start with other ways too, instead of just going first into sex. Unless that's what you want to guys do, then go for it. That's amazing. But what I'm saying here is like, you want to make sure that you're easing into it little by little by little and not putting too much pressure on yourself, especially if it's been months or sometimes even years, you know? And honestly, if it's been years, I would encourage you to seek outside help, outside therapy, because I think when it's been that long, a lot of times you're in an unhealthy relationship or your partner's not attracted to you, or something is going on emotionally or health-wise, okay? So gentlemen, if you are going through this, I 1000% know it is a difficult moment, but it doesn't always have to be like this. So if you want to seek more help, if you want private coaching in regards to this topic, we are here to help you. I have me and my partner coaches that are specialized in this, and 2 of my partner coaches, me and my other coach, we are married. We've been in long-term marriages. We are here to help you and advise you as well. So if you want some added help, you can click the link below for private coaching. And if you want to continue watching here on this channel, not only am I going to ask you to subscribe, but you can continue watching here on this next video that I have for you. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Remember, you are always loved. Bye for now.